All right, guys. This time, I'll call the Monday, November 10th, 2025 meeting to order. I know. Great. They all go together. Great. Sorry. Thank everybody for being here. You will please this time join for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right. This time we're going to recognize our Teachers of the Year and our District Teacher of the Year. First, from Polk Central, we have Macy Bedman. We have Miss Maria Mason Freeman from Polk County High School. We have Miss Tony McMahon from Polk Central. From Polk County Middle School. Miss Jennifer Goforth from Saluda Elementary.
She's not here.
Not here either. All right. Oh, thank you. Brandy Roddy from Sunny View. And from Tryon Elementary, Miss Jennifer Schweitzer. Don't go too far to call. We also have you for our District Teacher of the Year as well. Congratulations. Congratulations, guys. Thank you so much for all y'all do.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to say we're very fortunate to have all of these teachers in our school system. They do a tremendous job, and so we are very blessed to have them. And congratulations, they are well-deserved and hardworking teachers, and we just appreciate you guys so much. You're welcome to stay if you would like to, but otherwise, if you guys don't mind stepping out in the hall, Ms. Reinhardt has agreed to take our group picture for us. And thank you guys. And because you are Teachers of the Year, you get tomorrow off.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, you buddy. All right. Next item on the agenda, folks, is the approval of the October 13th minutes. Has everybody had a chance to review and need a motion and a second for approval?
I move that be approved.
A second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Nay. Motion carries 7-0. Next, moving under instructional, we have the Bolt Mentor Program. Ms. Carolyn Ballman.
Everyone, thank you so much for inviting me to speak to you tonight. My name is Carolyn Ballman. I'm with Bolt Mentors. I want to start by sharing my gratitude to the district for your support of this program. It has really made all the difference. So what is Bolt? Well, we are a mentorship program. Bolt stands for Building Opportunities for Leadership and Trust. And just a little bit about us. So we have 20 students in our program across 3 schools. We're at the high school, the middle school, and the early college. Our goal is really to connect community members with our incredible students and really be another layer of support for them. We really want to strengthen our community bonds as well and grow leadership skills throughout the process. So we're in our 3rd program year, and we're sponsored by the Polk County Community Foundation. So as we were developing the program, I really wanted to start with a wide lens and understand national mentorship programs as a whole and how they worked. and then sort of get a little closer to our rural communities and understand how they work in our rural communities. And then we even dove even deeper to understand what the needs were in Polk County. So I'll start with some national mentorship statistics just to sort of set the stage. So students who have a mentor are 55% more likely to attend college and secondary schools. They're 81% more likely to play sports. They're 78% more likely to volunteer in the community. And they're 100% more likely to lead in the future. Next slide. Rural mentorship stats also. So surprisingly, only 10% of all mentorship programs in the nation are in rural communities. And when they happen, they're often focusing on youth development, life skills, and on the relationship itself, as well as healthy behaviors. Rural mentorship programs also do tend to last longer, 23 months versus 17 months in more urban settings. And so this really cultivated the why behind Bolt. After talking to lots of people in our community and really trying to get a sense of what could be our why behind Bolt. We really have, as we all know, a unique community fabric here, and we wanted to create really meaningful connections between students and mentors. So Bolt's vision: to really inspire tomorrow's leaders, to promote responsible citizenship, to strengthen the bonds of our community, and also to help students achieve their fullest potential. So how Bolt works? Well, we start in the 8th grade and we ask for a 1-year commitment, but what we're seeing and we're hoping for is that students and mentors will last all the way through 12th grade. Meetings happen twice a month for 30 minutes each. And again, they continue throughout high school. So right now we have 20 mentee students participating across all 3 schools, and we do have a waiting list. Students and mentors are often partnered through interests and life experiences. We're really leaning into leadership and what are the core strengths of students. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And our goal is to create a consistent opportunity for students to really have someone check in on them, know that someone is there for them to listen and to consider their goals. Next slide. So we are leaning into a one-on-one in-school model. Rutherford has McNair Mentors, which we really leaned into some of their best practices as well. So this benefit, the benefits of this in-school model are we're really meeting students where they are, and we're able to cast a wide net. We're also only having short bursts of time, which has a low impact on in-school learning. And then we're also creating an opportunity for the student to take a break, to check in, to recalibrate, and to have someone to talk to. Additional benefits that I also wanted to mention, studies are also showing that mentorship can also increase high school graduation rates, create healthier relationships and lifestyle choices. Students often have better attitudes about school, higher college and secondary enrollment rates, and also enhance self-esteem. And it's really often a two-way street. I mean, we can only imagine every mentor is also receiving incredible blessings, being able to get to know these incredible students. So we always like to see it as a reciprocal relationship. All right, and you can actually go back, sorry. So as I said, leadership has become a real cornerstone of the program. We're focusing on leadership of self, leadership maybe among their peer group, and also leadership within their community and beyond. We're leaning into the 7 C's of leadership, which really cover everything from competence and caring skills to character and contribution. Next slide. So just a couple of highlights from this school year. So we've had over 50 meetings so far this year. We've just taken a really fun field trip to the Peace Center where we got to see these 2 violin virtuosos called the Sons of Maestro, and that was incredible. We are starting a podcast. It's going to be a big initiative. I'm really excited about it. But our goal just for this year is to have 3 podcast episodes created by students. They're going to learn the art of storytelling. It's going to be called Bolt Voices, and students are going to interview mentors, and mentors are going to interview students in really short clips. We're also launching a bi-monthly career speaker series that's focusing on 5 different career fields. So if you happen to be at the high school or near the high school on Tuesday, the 18th, we have a local cosmetologist who's going to come and talk to any interested students about the field of cosmetology. And we have other fields that are going to be represented throughout the course of the year. And then this spring, we hope to bring an athlete or an author or a storyteller to do an all-school assembly. So we do try to often cast the net very wide to share bold and the opportunities as well. Okay. So I wanted just to share, sometimes I feel like me sharing about bold really doesn't necessarily resonate as much as the voices of the students and the mentors. So from time to time, I'll write down quotes from students and mentors that just really resonate, and I think perhaps shed light on the program. So a couple of positive responses that I received from students recently. One student came up to me and said, "Do I have to share my mentor with anyone?" And I said, "No, she's all yours." Another girl came up to me at one point last month and she said, "I love this program. I really don't know what I would do without my mentor." And then I think one that really also resonated was when a student came up to me and said, "Do you think I can be a mentor when I graduate?" And to me, that's really that's what we're trying to cultivate here, is that giving back. And it was beautiful to hear. And then mentors have also shared, one mentor recently shared, the most meaningful aspect is knowing that the student trusts me to be a part of her life and is willing to share that with me. And recently another mentor said, "Being a Bolt mentor has enhanced my skills in both practicing and teaching active listening and presence. I feel that my mentee and I have formed a truly meaningful connection in the short time that we've been working together." So in closing, I really feel like the Bolt Mentorship Program is truly a reflection of this incredible school district and our community as a whole. And we do have needs, a little plug, we do have needs for mentors. We have 3 females and 3 males that need someone to be their mentor. So if you or anyone you know that would be a wonderful role model, might be interested, it's only 1 hour a month. But I really believe that the blessings back are tenfold, both for the student and the mentor. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. All right. Next up on the agenda is the Gear Up program. Ms. Jan Crump, Adam Dedman, and Linda Sage.
So we're excited to share with you a little bit about Gear Up. Gear Up is a 7-year grant, and we are actually in the 2nd year of the grant. I am the director of Gear Up, but I do not do the work. These 2 right here have been doing all the work at the ground level. So Linda Sage has been a counselor with us for many years in Polk County Schools, and she serves as the coordinator for Gear Up. And then, of course, Mr. Adam Denman, the principal at middle school. So that's where the groundwork is happening. And even today, my understanding is that they went on a field trip, and tell you a little bit about that in just a few minutes. But I just wanted to get you started and let you know what Gear Up stands for: gaining early awareness and readiness for undergraduate programs. So I think it's interesting, as I was listening to Carolyn talk, that some of the same things that we are doing in preparing our students to go on to college and become successful adults. So how we partner in Polk County Schools with so many initiatives to help our students is phenomenal. I just wanted to show you this as an example. These are the 17 current school districts that are participating in Western North Carolina. Their goal is to have all of the counties in Western North Carolina participate in Gear Up. And you can see the ones that so far we are in the 3.0, which is the 3rd year of the program. Yes, the 3rd round. So they pick up so many counties each year. So we're in the 3rd rotation, just started last year. I'm going to let them speak for just a moment. This is our IHE partners, and then you can see the list here. Of course, our partner is Isothermal Community College, and I believe today was the
Today we partnered with Isothermal Community College, where our 7th grade students got to go on a field trip to ICC. Ms. Gibbs got to go as well. It was very educating, also for me as well, to go around, and students got to see different programs and how it worked at college, and all the different examples of the programs they got to get out there and get hands-on experience. It was a great opportunity for all of our students. You have anything to add about that? Like,
Every time it's interesting because every time we go, they take us to different programs that they have. So we learn something each time that we go.
yeah, for example, like went through nursing program today. We went through childcare, went through EMS, went through nursing. So it was great.
How many students?
That was our whole seventh grade got done today.
You can see the various services that Europe provides, lots of family services to our families, like helping them with the FAFSA. Right now, we are currently just in the middle school, but Shady moving forward, it's a 7-year grant, so they will continue to pick up the other grade levels in the high school as well. So they offer a lot of services through the Gear Up programs, family night designs, design nights, mastery prep services. You want to tell them a little bit about what mastery prep is?
So that's something, it's actually, our grant is funded through Appalachian State. And so their larger grant that they have with us, they're funding the mastery prep services for our students. It's for our 8th grade that are in the Math 1 class. And so they'll be able, it's an online program. And then once they get to high school, it will also, there's other classes that can receive the help through mastery prep, and as well as through they can get ACT help as well.
Research says it matters, just as Carolyn was talking about. So, especially if you take your first college visit during middle school years, that they say, particularly for rural students, that you're more likely to pursue some sort of post-secondary ed opportunity. Educational field trips are beneficial and provide college knowledge. A campus visit in earlier grades is more predictive of post-secondary education. And then, of course, exposure to college campuses helps students with the college decision process. And many of our students, often don't go visit colleges unless we're taking them. So, that's what we love about the fact that already in middle school, they've had multiple opportunities or will to visit various campuses. All right. How about one of you guys would talk about in Polk?
Sure. We started in December of 2024. It just started with 6th and 7th grade. Now we have the whole middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th. As Ms. Crump was saying, we're part of Gear Up 3.0. We're in the 2nd year, and so next year we'll have grades 6 through 9, and then it'll actually follow that group, that cohort, and so it'll be 7th through 10th, 8th through, it goes that way. So we'll just follow that 4-year group of students as they go.
And the why, because Gear Up is far more than a program. It is a network changing the lives and communities in Western North Carolina. They certainly believe that all students deserve access to being on college campuses and seeing what is available for them. A lot of this program has to do with helping them realize you can get financial aid, and there are opportunities for you, that everyone can go to college, even if you feel like it's something your family can't afford, that there are opportunities for these students out there. And then this past summer, I'll let Linda or Mr. Desmond talk about some of the things we did on the school campus.
So we had a drone camp for our students. It was open to all of our students. We had actually somebody from ICC that came and talked to our students. He teaches the class at ICC. We also had a robotics camp that was also open to all of our rising 6th through 8th grade. And we had a mobile planetarium that was there at the end of the year last year for our students. We set it up in the library at the middle school. And then also a new something that we added was electricity kits for the science classroom in 6th grade. The program also paid a stipend for one of the staff members, the one that taught the robotics camp. And also, when we had Jumpstart for our rising 6th grade students on July 21st, it also provided stipends for those students, the teachers as well. So, and then we were really pleased because the Kids Census Museum in Rutherford County, they offered for free to come to our Jumpstart program. I talked to them, and they came and presented a science demonstration, and it was a great demonstration that they did for our 6th grade students. And then, of course, the college visits. We're going Blue Ridge Community College. We're going to that campus on November 21st. And with that's the 8th grade students that are doing that visit. And then in March, we're going to go to App State. So pretty exciting for our 8th graders. So get them on a big campus.
Also through this program, we work with the group Linda and I and Mr. Dedman, also work with our high school administration team and the counselors with a team called National Post-Secondary Strategy Institute. And we all get together several times throughout the year and talk about the Mastery Prep program and different ways to focus on developing and implementing strategies to enhance the post-secondary opportunities that we're giving to our students.
These are just some pictures from our robotics camp. We had it at the middle school. So the camps are free to our students. It's important, we want to make it as accessible to our kids as we can. And then our drone camp.
So just can't say enough. Linda Sage is doing a fantastic job, and Mr. Dedman at the middle school rolling our grant out, and we're excited about moving it forward through the high school years and all of the opportunity that the Gear Up money is bringing to our county. So any questions for them or for us? All right.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate all you
Thank
do.
you.
Thank you so much. All right, next we have a student services update. Ms. Tony Haley. Oh, okay, thank you.
Bring that in with me too. So you also have access to the indicator report that the presentation is based off of. So I won't take you all the way through that whole thing, but I just want to hit some of the highlights of our indicators. I usually do this in January, but we are going with it in November this year. Some positives from that. Our dropout rates and graduation rates are looking good. We were pretty significantly above for graduation rates and below for dropout rates than what that state target is. So I was really pleased with that. We don't and haven't had any issues with disproportionality. So that one is, that's never been an issue for us. We are meeting state targets for our LRE in the area of resource and separate. We'll talk about regular in a minute. Our preschool programming, those indicators for preschool still look really good. Our kids are really growing in those skills that are the most important skills before they start school. And I have sat up here for the past like 4 years and said, we've never had indicator 8 data because it wasn't our turn. Well, last year was our turn, and we were well above state targets for that. I was really, really pleased. There were only a couple of parents who felt like they had not been a part of the IEP process. And guess what? The state decided to do it every year with all the districts. So we'll get that data every year. They have totally changed the survey. So year after year, you will have it. But we had our turn and I was pleased. I think our teachers do a good job making sure that most of our parents feel involved in that IEP process. There were some areas of growth. Our achievement scores are below the state targets. What I will tell you about that is last year they moved our target. No longer is the state reporting to the feds, which is what these are, for 3s and above. It is now 4s and above. So you have to have a 4 or 5 to consider meeting the target. So they moved the target that this year. There are lots and lots of counties that saw a decline in their indicator scores based on that particular data point. But we will keep working with that. We did have an increase, or we need to increase the number of students spending 80% of their day in general ed. We're just shy of the state target. And so that's something that we'll be talking about with our staff. We need to push some more kids into what's considered that regular, least restrictive environment. There was a bit of a drop with those preschool kids. They did really well in the social skills area, but we saw a little decline for behavior and acquisition of those academic skills. This was a particularly large group of students with significant needs. So our classroom, our self-contained classroom at Polk Central has a whole new group of kiddos in it. So that was some of the contributing factors to that, but that is something we want to keep a close eye on and make sure that's not going down. And the 90-day timeline, we'll get to 100% one day. I will tell you this past year, we had 3 that we didn't meet, and all 3 of those were due to a delay in getting parent consent. So much so that we had social workers going out to try to get it. So our teachers have improved. I've hounded them. They've done a really good job. But that piece, what we're going to work on over the next little bit is some procedures of what do we do when parents don't sign at the meeting? Do we give them infinite number of days? Do we? And there's a lot of stuff from the state on things that we can do. And our staff is very interested in having some of those rules and regulations of like, okay, we're going to send it home with you, but you get 5 days. If we don't hear back from you, then we're going to assume you don't want those. We'll reach out a couple of more times. So we're working on those things. I will say the target is 100%. And while 96% is not 100, that is actually still above a lot of other districts. So my DPI people tell me to chill, that that's actually not that bad. The next slide, some funding updates that I wanted you to be aware of that they have rolled out this year. They have changed a couple of our little pots of money. The PRC 29, which is our behavior support grant, they totally revamped it. We used to do it in the spring, and we would know by now if we had our money. Of course, it won't drop until we have a state budget. However, they have totally revamped that. It no longer is going to go to our DPI behavior rep. It's going to go to some grant readers who are going to read it and score it. And then they will send it to the top of the line and decide who gets it. We spent a lot of time on that grant. I'm very confident that we will get that money. We need that money. But sometimes our kids aren't as bad, and have as many needs as other districts. So that's what we're in, about the 3rd year of a leadership change in the state, I think. So you're seeing lots of different things roll down. They also have moved our 118 and 119 funds, which are our autism funds that we usually get and our related service funds that we usually get. That is no longer the case. It is now what is called an EC competitive grant. And it is also rubric based. I have looked into that rubric. It is heavily weighted on your district's test scores, whether or not you have, can't remember right off the top of my head, but it was, we weren't looking about getting a lot of points. So I'm pretty sad about this. They tried to do this last year, and they were so overwhelmed with the number of grants and the amount of money people were asking that about January, they said, we're not going to do it anymore. We're going to wait. And they just sent us a chunk of change to spend by the end of this year. I took that money, and we are sending about 6 or 7 teachers to the EC conference with that money that they gave us. They had some old federal money. So that's these last 2 pots of money are generally around $5,000 or $6,000. But I did want you to know they're not huge pots. For us, I mean, we would get $3,500 for an autism team, and then but it was enough to cover some retention activities like paying for the extra licenses that SLPs have to get, being able to buy some materials, sending our PTs and OTs and speech therapists to more, their training is more expensive. And so that pot of money is not there. They're broadening it to more of the retention, recruitment and improvement thing. So that is just a little update there. Another update I want to give you because it affects what you hear. This is our exceptional children's headcount update. We were holding steady for a couple of years. We have had a pretty significant bump. We've gone from, we were holding steady at 363 to 392. And if you do the math, that's between about 17%. Remember, we only get funded up to 13%. Currently, we have 24 open referrals, and there have been 36 total so far this year. I don't think we're sitting too bad compared to last year. There was a total of 92 referrals. Just some impacts that you need to be aware of. This is what, 29, 30 more kids with no additional funds. So it increases teacher workload. It is increasing staff stress and some lower morale in regards to that. I have less money per kid to spend. I think sitting at that, we have about 100 kids that we serve with no funding. It can lead to compliance issues. I mean, that 90-day timeline is tight. And so if you have teachers who are used to 18 to 20 on their caseload now having 29, that's a significant increase. I mean, imagine your workload increasing, you know, by what, 50%? That's 150% of what they had just 3-4 years ago. Our EC classes are getting larger. And the groups that like the elementary schools are getting bigger. The resource class sizes are getting bigger. And it becomes really hard for scheduling just to pull all of those kids and those sorts of things. I will give you, I did an initial dive into this sort of thing. I can't find anything that we're off of. Our disability categories are right in line with national averages. I didn't see any disability category that I felt was, you know, maybe we were doing more. I thought 5 years ago when they changed the way you qualify for LD, those numbers would skyrocket. That really is not the case. They have increased, but we're still right there with those national norms that I've looked at. We also started looking at, okay, do I have a school issue? Do I have a school with too many referrals? So we took all the elementary schools, we divided up what percent of the elementary population they were, and then we divided up their number of referrals to see what percent of the referrals they had. I would say nothing really statistically significant there. I also, now this, you don't take this the wrong way, but we have what we call a hit rate in special ed. And that's when you take the number of referrals that you have and you look at the percent that is actually eligible. 70 to 80 is great. We're sitting at 70. So I can't say that we are finding too many kids. I think it is just the change in special education, but it does have impact on our teachers because I don't have any more money. And our teachers are having to have more and more of a workload. Any questions on that piece before I get to talk about something a little more fun? So I wanted to brag on our counselors and social workers just a little bit, and to let you know that they're taking care of kids all the time. They worked on when we had the shutdown, the government shutdown and all of that, and the concerns about SNAP funds, I want you to know that these guys are on it. All I had to do is say, hey, we're worried. And they got together a flyer to make sure that all of our kids and families knew where to go for help. So that they created that resource. And then last week, I made them send me pictures. They were at the state counseling conference. They all go together. This is an opportunity that no other district gets. Other districts get to send one or two. We get to send our whole district because of the Polk Community Foundation. So there they are, having a good time. I was a little jealous I wasn't with them this year, but that is an amazing group, and they take really good care of our kids. Yeah. Any questions or concerns?
Nothing but the obvious.
Yeah. So sorry, I all these people get to do the positive, and it is what it is. But I get to hear from other districts, and I've been in other places. This staff really is like no other. They're taking it on. They're sad. They're overworked. They're frustrated, but they're taking care of kids. They're fighting for their kids. So they're a tough group, and I couldn't ask for a better place and a group of people to work with.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to say, to echo what Tony is saying, that our counselors, our social workers do a tremendous job, and they deal with a lot of things that don't really rise to the surface, and it's hard to not carry that with you. And so I think it's important for us to acknowledge that and the work that they do. And on that note, I do want to take this opportunity to say a special thank you to Tony Haley, who is retiring. And we are going to miss Tony. She has been a great addition to Polk County Schools, and we are sad to see her go, but she's moving on to her next career. What is your official title now, Tony?
Being a lolly.
A lolly. Which translates into grandmother.
Yes.
So, but she is going to spend time with grandchildren, and but Tony, just want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much for what you've done, and that we will miss you. And you've been a true asset to Polk County Schools.
Absolutely.
Well,
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yes.
I thank y'all and for taking a chance on somebody from Brevard. I could not think of a better way or place to end my career than right here in Polk County, where the grass is greener, and I think of all other people. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yep. Yeah, I got a text from my wife at the soccer game, and it's absolutely pouring snow right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pouring snow pretty good.
Where's the game?
At the
That's high school. They're up 2-1 right now.
Excellent.
All right. Next item on the agenda is the overnight trip for the Polk County High School wrestling team. Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We do have a request for a overnight field trip for the Polk County High School wrestling team that will be traveling to Mallard Creek High School in Charlotte. That will be to December 19th and 20th. It is an opportunity for our wrestling team to go and compete in Charlotte versus a number of different high schools. It's a pretty big tournament, and I think it will be beneficial for our student athletes to participate in that. But we are proposing that for your approval for the overnight field trip to Mallard Creek High School in Charlotte, North Carolina on December 19th and 20th.
Any questions on the wrestling field trip? Not be looking for a motion and a second for approval.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? You none? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Is that an aye, Judy?
Yes.
All right. Motion carries 7-0. Mr. Murphy, going back to you, we're going to talk about the 2025-2026 school calendar.
Yes, sir. It is that time of year again where we're starting to think about next year. It's hard to believe, but turning our thoughts towards next academic school year, and really at this point, just looking for direction from the board as to, the construction and, creation of our school calendar for next year.
No idea. Even like we did, finish the semester by Christmas break and, yep, just like we've been doing.
So the superintendent has been directed to create a calendar that completes the first semester before Christmas.
Clarification, I'm pretty sure we figured out the 25-26 calendar. We're gonna work on next year. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, all right.
Well, I think that was, yes, 26, 27.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, there we go.
I was wondering about that. Yeah, thank you for the clarification.
Ms. Odell, if you'll make that correction. Thank you.
Did you do that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Oh. Did I just call you out in front of everybody?
I'm used to it.
I'm sure.
I take blame for all we
Yeah, this is on a bad path again. This is the way it went last week.
We're talking his office out there.
Well, let's get moving under administrative then.
Yes.
Next we have the budget amendment, Debbie Lovelace.
Yes, in your packets is, we had some additional revenue. There's still some budgets that have not come in yet, from some allotment, should I say, from the state. So this is the ones that came in the next few weeks. One thing I'm waiting on is, some of the ones Tony was talking about, that, I think the Beltline Day and the behavior, waiting on those. But on the state, we had additional revenue, 51,007, which was, see, conventions, store connectivity, and some bus stop arms. Some of the buses, they usually give us enough money to put one or two, just a couple on buses every year. And then, the principal bonus, we had one principal that received that this year. That's all from state funds. Fund 4, was additional revenue for, dilutive retaining wall, the money for that. And that was, through, I requested that through, the county. Also, there was a small amount that was for some money for the paving project, and then repairs. We had some repairs and renovation, which added 75,000. Now that money I request from the county. It comes from different plots. Brandon is very familiar with that one. Okay.
David, 1 minute. While it's a little,
Mhm.
it's done and paid for, right?
Yes, sir. And that was that emergency legislative allotment. That was not lottery funds. That was a legislative grant we applied for, given to us. So it was no money out of local pockets.
And it was
So,
50-something thousand,
yes.
almost $60,000. We didn't use all those funds, cause our insurance covered, some of the expenses we had. And, they've got a hierarchy on how you request those funds. Your insurance will pay for it. Of course, your insurance has to pay first. And then Brendan's real good about asking for what he's not positive, what's going to be covered. And then they can always pull that money back. That way we're covered in case insurance didn't pay for something. So there is some funds there that, state get back.
If you guys recall, we asked for in that emergency legislative allotment, 175,000 was the total ask. The reason we didn't spend that much is because NCDOT received a last second FEMA allotment that covered the bulk of that cost on the Seminary Street. We picked up our portion of some of the beautification to it, making it look like a rock structure, which is really cool. If you haven't had a chance to take a look at it, it looks really nice. So that 50-ish, 56,000 was the remaining portion we had left. Unfortunately, we did have to return the rest of the money. We got the word on that. We wanted to try to hang on to that, but we had to send that back.
Fund 8, we had, a small amount of additional revenues, 19,103, which, was, from the Polk County Community Foundation. and part of it was for the Pack Channel at, Sunnyview. And then the AIG grant, some of the funds I drew down from Polk County Community Foundation. I think that's all.
All right, any questions for Ms. Lovelace? Not, this will be an actionable item. We'll be looking for a motion and a second for approval.
100%, 150% for pharmaceutical. The pharmaceutical is part that's part of the
Jack, your ears okay? We're getting a lot of. Muted it for just a second.
All right. Again.
She made a motion, I said.
I don't know if she made the motion. I got the motion.
It sounded like that was an advertisement.
Okay.
More robust, and over the week, he's prime minister.
That's not her talking.
No.
Or something.
All right. Well, we're looking for a motion and a second for approval of the budget amendment.
Of the budget amendments as presented.
A second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those nay. Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have the 2025-2026 teacher supplement proposal. Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Board members, we have a proposal here for you to consider for our 2025-2026 school year teacher supplement. As you can see there, it depends on years of service. In North Carolina, the scale goes from 0 to 4, then 5 to 9 years, 10 to 14, 15 to 19, 20 to 24, and then 25 plus. This supplement is paid one installment in the fall and another one in the spring. This is an increase from last year per supplement. As you can see there, we'll just use the 0 to 4 category. For teachers that fall into that as years of service in North Carolina, that fall supplement will be $2,700 in the fall, and then the spring they would receive the second portion that will be $2,160 to make up their total supplement for the entire school year. So, are there any questions regarding the teacher supplement proposal?
Now, this is an estimate. Really, the one in the spring, we don't know exactly what that one will be. It could be a little bit more. It all depends on when the spring gets here. Basically, the state gives us a dollar amount. It's $700,000. We take that and split it up, put people in their tiers based on their years. And we have to meet a certain percent by the end of the year. So that can calculate a little bit different at the end. Sometimes it goes up, usually it goes up a little bit because I'm having it estimated because you don't know who's going to get paid and what tier they're going to be at by the end of the year. And if the raises end up coming, it could change all that for sure. But it's basically you have to that fall amount, all of that is coming from the state. There will be some state money probably left over when we get done. And I pull that into the spring along with our local. So that's the only way you can really do it and meet your goal that the state says you have to meet. So that's the reason I call it an estimate really, because it does fluctuate a little bit in the spring.
All right, folks. Well, once again, this is an actionable item. We'll be looking for a motion and a second for approval.
So much.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries 7-0. Dr. Schweitzer, we now have the school capital lottery fund release.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is we're trying to pull back funds for work we have done in the district, from July 1 all the way until till this date, till November, for various projects, a lot of them district-wide, plumbing repairs, HVAC, fire alarm, and some structural repairs at Tryon Elementary School. Sum total of $120,000. This is all lottery requests out of TSB RRF. That is that Repair and Renovations Lottery pot of money. And it's just a way to recoup some of our local capital funding that we put in.
Any questions? Once again, it's an actionable item. You're looking for a motion and a second for approval.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Those nay. Motion carries 7-0. Mr. Murphy, do we have any old business?
No, sir.
Okay. We have any new business?
Yeah, I do. I want to talk a little bit about the Foothills estate that's coming through. I just want to make sure people know that I went to the planning meeting that they had earlier last week. That's going to be 450 families that come into that triangle area. There's 130 acres. They haven't really gotten any school plans. They said they talked to you. They said they talked to Aaron, and I wasn't sure because they didn't know the do of you. So if somebody talked to you, I'd kind of like to know that because I think I was getting smoked on it.
Yeah, at some point, I think Mr. Green and Dr. Schweitzer had some conversations with the town of Columbus about.
Right. That's right.
The
Well, they are doing it in phases, and they're going to start with the first one. I think will be 75 units, and it's no longer an approval process. It's a wickets process. If you make it through the wicket, you go on to the next wicket. So it's more like croquet and less like getting approvals. And there's some things that aren't quite cricket literally in the way they're doing it. It will have an impact on our school for sure. 450 families. Going to affect the middle schools in that area and the high school and the elementaries a lot. We need to figure out what we're going to do to react to it. It should go into our facilities needs assessment. And we should also look at doing something with it when we talk to people about facility conditions, because it is exactly what we talked about. Mom got 4 kids to move to school. She's got 1 vehicle. Yeah, it'll fit them, but it may not make it for 4 kids. So we got to figure out what we're going to do here. Otherwise, they'll just drop it.
To add a little bit of context, back in June, we were able to meet with the Foothills Economic Development Commission, who took over the project from town of Columbus, and some of the transitions and their planning they had going on. At the time when Foothills took the project over, we had the very obvious question of saying, we need to hear about proposed school impact. What's going on? What's the scope of the project? What do you foresee? What are your forecasts? All those kinds of things. In that moment, there was a couple things that emerged from it. Number one, a school system feasibility study was not a requirement that was listed in their items, so they're not required by law to scope that out. However, Foothills was able to provide more or less comparability assessments at that point in the project. I want to be clear about that. The project, I think, has changed scope some since then, so it's time for an update. But at that point in the project, they had scoped and braced us for sort of the price range they were looking for. We had talked about some of the duplexes they were looking at trying to sell in that phase. It's not all going to be duplexes. There's going to be a phase of duplexes. We're looking to sell for between 350 to 400,000 per side. And then some of the single family homes, although allocated on a relatively small lot, they were targeting for 400 plus. When you start into getting into dollar amounts like that, you're going to get an interesting mixed bag of families potentially with school-age children and potentially older retiree families. So the data on the very front end, and I want to be clear, when we first met with them, the project I think has changed scope some. We are due an update, but the data on the front end indicated that we were able to sustain the proposed influx of children based on what they were able to give us at that time. We do need to meet with them again, as you've suggested, to talk about where we are in this project process. Which, as I understand, it's going to be several years in the making, as there's a lot of hoops they've got to try to work through. So
The whole project will be several years in the making, but they're going to do it in phasing.
right, you're
And as soon as they get through with phase 1, they're going to go after, I think it's 75 single family homes. I would look to see those in 18 to 20 months.
Sure.
The other thing is we want to make sure we don't let them off the, if for some reason we have to have new construction, state law does allow us to force them to dedicate the land for the school.
Yes.
So we don't want to lose that one rope. That may be our only rope.
All right. Well, thank you very much, guys. Mr. Murphy.
I do have one piece of new business. As the board is aware, on October the 29th, we had a water main break from the Inman-Campobello water line that serves 3 of our campuses. That would be Polk Central Elementary, Sunnyview Elementary, and Polk County Middle School. On that particular day, we were notified that there will be no water whatsoever on that particular morning. Obviously, if we can't flush toilets, that's an issue. So we had to make a decision at that point to close those 3 schools at 10:30 on the 29th and send those students home. Fortunately, that water was back up and functioning later after about a 6 to 8 hour repair. There was a boiled water order in place, but we were able to have school the next day and not miss any more time. So our new business tonight is to ask the board to forgive the 4.5 hours that our students missed at those 3 school locations and do not count that against us towards our completion of the school year.
That's something we need to vote on.
That would be an actionable item.
Okay, all right,
I'll make a motion.
all right.
That's nice.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 And that also new development. We got a totally thorough and exhaustive report from the Columbus Planning Commission that they said our water system is okay and our sewage system is okay. Those 2 statements were their exhaustive report. And given the fact that we just had a broken water line, again, there's a lot of smoke flying right now.
That motion carried 7-0. You see that any other business? All right, you see the information presented to the board, folks. I'm not going to read these this time. I read them all the time. I'm not going to read them this time. But you do see we have tomorrow is Veterans Day. We have the 26th is an optional teacher work day. 27th and 28th are a holiday for Thanksgiving. 22nd of December through January 2nd of next year are the Christmas break holiday. Students be back on the 5th. You see the optional offered board training. There was no public input. So do we have any attorney-client privileged?
Yes.
We do. All right, so be looking for a motion to move into closed session for purposes of discussing personnel and attorney-client privileged.
So moved.
A second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries 7-0.